Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Harakah Kadash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Shalom to all the brothers doing the work of sharing truth. Yeah, I saw this and I thought it's an interesting kind of look, because you've got conflict between like Iran and State Israel flaring up again, and on social media, it's like on Twitter, I went on there, it was like World War III was trending, Iran was trending, and then like people were sharing like footage of the missiles dropping. Then people were talking about the draft, World War III, all these things again, and that's kind of how people are looking at these things. They're thinking like, yo, this could kick it off, but then as far as us, we're aware of prophecy, and then with one of the key main prophecies that needs to come to pass is the MOTB, that micro CHIP. And then with this article, I thought it's telling that these things kind of move in the background, and people aren't really aware of the fullness of what's going down, because it's very few times does it kind of go in the mainstream. And then the thing that with the MOTB, it's kind of been the marketing that's been pushed out, because it's with what's his name, Elon Musk and whatnot, doing like the footage showing like, hey, this guy got it. The more recent one was the guy that was on the plane off. I think it was the second guy that received the Neuralink when it was on the plane. I think it was like watching something or interacting with his laptop or whatever, and then using the Neuralink to do it, and saying like, oh, it's amazing, it's like I got a sensation back in my hands, blah 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 blah. So those things, those things are there in the background happening, but not really getting that focus. And that's the thing, it will be something that will spring out and will hit as a surprise. As a surprise for people. But then the reality of it is this actually shouldn't be a surprise. Because why? Because the reality of it is it shouldn't be a surprise, because the reality of it is the reality of it is it's always been moving. And that's like the apostle been talking about the MOTB for the longest times, like before they were even on YouTube, like going way back. And then looking back then, you'd think like you wouldn't even see companies working on these things on a substantial kind of scale. But now you got whole trade shows being put on to promote it. And then you got laws getting passed. And I remember it was like the first big one where it was mentioned was Obamacare, where they had a section on implantable devices. But then that was adjusted when it came to the final. It was in one of the initial drafts, but then when it came to the final draft, I think they removed or adjusted the section. And as such, everyone was like, "Oh yeah, you're all talking about, you're gassing it, blah 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 blah," but it's not a real thing. Like, why are you guys all what do you call it? Why are you guys all focused on this dog shit? But then what's in reality, that's when a man like Nate was saying like, oh, it's June, ain't no micro C hips. But then what now it's not even a thing where you can joke about. It's laws are getting passed. You're seeing it taking shape physically. So this is on Technopedia. It says California passes law protecting your brain data. So it says, we'll just skip down to the point. So it says amendments to California's Consumer Privacy Act now include neural data under the category of personal sensitive information, which includes biometrics. This comes at a critical time when many neurotechnology companies are creating products to read, interpret, and collect neural data, as well as C-hip implants like Neuralink's telepathy. Consumer-grade devices are more readily available than ever. The Muse headband, for instance, is designed to improve your meditation practice by using EEG sensors to read brain activity patterns. And yeah, I think there's a Muse one. There might be multiple of the headbands, the ones that like link into your brain waves, because those things have been out for a minute as well. But then again, it's something that people don't look at as something that's kind of like, oh, what it is. It's a novelty. But then, the reality of it is, with these things, is people, it seems like that until it fully takes shape. And that's what has clearly become clear now, to where it's not even, can it really even be doubted with the select, with this thing. Because with these technologies, it's like a lot of these technologies, they start off as, oh, it's being done, for the greater good of XYZ, but then it gets broader and broader in its application, and can easily, can't you see this coming to it? It says what non-invasive neurotech devices aren't marketed as medical devices, meaning they're unregulated and companies can collect and sell user data. And yeah, I think it's only the implantable ones that have been like that are managed underneath laws. It might be different in like the EU. I'm not too sure, but this is applying for the states because it's talking about California. But it says what meaning that unregulated companies can collect and sell user data. This new law will protect the data from potential misuse. Senator Josh Becker, Democrat of California, said that the importance of collecting neurodata in the state cannot be understated. The bill was widely backed by the American Academy of Neurology and several other medical and privacy regulatory organizations. Some experts say the bill amendments weren't necessary as neurodata was already covered under biometrics, and the change simply makes that clearer. So yeah, if it was already being spoken about, then that means that they had they already had clarity on it from before. But then specifying lets you know it's an area that's gonna expand out. And that's the thing is people are aware of this. You talk to people in the world, they're looking at it as okay. This this is interesting. It's intriguing. It's something appealing. They're kind of looking at it like, okay, yeah, that might, it would be cool in future to kind of you can become like a T1000 or whatever, have Google in your brain, etc. They're not looking at as far as when it goes to full control. It's a good thing with like smart TVs are a good excuse to like smart fridges and whatnot, where it has all kinds of conveniences to them. Because with smart fridges, it's like it will track what how like the usage of certain things in the fridge. Like you might have milk, eggs, etc. When it gets to a certain rate, then you can just have like you can either have options in the fridge. I remember there was a device that Apple was no, not Apple. That what the hell are they called? Amazon was selling, where you would link up a an order like for a particular set, like uh dishwashing tablets or clothes washing tablets, or something that you order regularly, and then you could like sync up an order where there'll be a button, and you said like we put it next to it, and then you press the button to then order on Amazon. And then with like smart fridges, they have those things linked in, and then with smart TVs as well, where they track your usage, what you watch, to recommend you and provide certain ads and whatnot that they wouldn't previously. And then with all this technology, it's what building information, building a profile, and then utilizing those profiles to, you know, personalize things to you, and then get a broader understanding of people, to then be able to be like, okay, well, you know, we know this guy is into this particular kind of what do you call it, is into this particular kind of you know, show or whatever, or product, and then personalize things. And that's been how all data has been used from when, you know, social media picked up online. That's one of the most monetizable ways to use it. But then it's also for psychology as well, for understanding, for research, and you have it utilized in those ways. And people think like, oh, you know, there's no way that that's gonna, you know, pick up in a big way. But then with, even in these, like I said, it's your you know, your brain waves. And that's something that Esau has, you know, a fervent desire to understand and control. You know, this guy has been invested in. This guy's been invested in understanding, you know, how people function and ways to, you know, manipulate, control, and control them. And then this is like the final form of that. This is where he basically gets to apply it on a level like it's spiritual power. Because I read this. Revelation 3:10 says, because thou was kept the what? Actually, you know, I'll come back to that one actually. Because I'll start on this then. Ezekiel 28:2, it says, Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, thus saith the Most High Power, because thine heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am a God, I sit in the seat of God in the midst of the seas, yet thou art a man and not God, though thou set thine heart as a heart of God. And yeah, that's really the viewpoint. That's kind of how things actually are. This guy is essentially in a situation now where he's established himself. He's been able to flourish. He's had his little season, you know, where it's been loosed, and then things have been working in his favor. And then up until what, you know, the tail end of his kingdom, up until he needs to be taken out of the way, they'll continue to work and flourish. But then what that, you know, he's taken, you know, the Lord basically allowing what he's doing now to continue to work, to flourish, as, you know, he's been blessed. He really thinks he's going to be established for all time. He thinks he's going to be about him to be like, yo, this is just going to keep running smooth. So he's exalted himself to the level of the Most High. He thinks that, he's like, damn, I've established my own systems, my own orders, and those things are working. Because that's the thing, he does have a huge level of control, and a lot of that is enabled by technology. The usage of technology, you know, that blessing that he received has allowed him to pull off a lot of this, even with, you know, especially when it comes to military dominance. The usage of you know, different forms of especially with air superiority, with aircraft, that allows a supreme amount of dominance over warfare. And that's really how he's kind of pushed himself to, you know, high level. A good example is with what's going on in like Lebanon, where, you know, they fucked up their communication lines with you know, taking out the pagers, taking out the walkie-talkies and whatnot. Then afterwards, you know, did airstrikes on key targets, where it's you know, you can just blow somewhere to hell with impunity. That's why you have like no-fly zones. That's a legendary amount of control. And these are, you know, that with these things being, this technology being used, it's for control. It's so he can enact his will on earth. That's really what Esau's about. Esau's about enacting his will and his desires upon the earth. And then in doing so, he really has thought, maybe I'm the Most High. He says, "What, behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they can hide from thee. With thy wisdom and with thine understanding, thou hast gotten riches, and hast gotten gold and silver into thy treasures. By thy great wisdom and by thy traffic hast thou increased thy riches, and thine heart is lifted up because of thy riches." And yeah, that wisdom he's been given, that's a big part of how he's thinking, like, yo, this shit's working out. But the reality of it is it's only up to a point. Because what he's going to be able to establish the MOTB, the micro CHIP, but he's doing it thinking he's going to be, essentially have a means to stop anyone ever coming against him. It'll be like the Most High, where he's thinking he's going to be the ultimate power. But that's a deception. And that's the thing that is understood within any sort of system, that with this technology, just as with anything else, if you have the means to just like, damn, we're just going to be able to understand everything and be able to, just tap into someone's brain and see, like, okay, what they thinking. Are they getting upset? Are they getting angry? Are they going to resist? Or are they docile, whatever? And then utilize and they'll have, ways of measuring, because they've compartmentalized, like, when, depending on certain emotions, certain thought patterns, certain behaviors, certain parts of your brain light up. So they're utilizing that with these technologies, kind of go, okay, this is when it's given particular instructions, this is when certain thought patterns are happening. Utilizing all that information, when, and that's something that people always desire, to just, know what's going on in someone's mind. You're thinking, like, I can just know, like, what he's thinking, then you have a super level of control. Then yeah, you really think you can be like the Most High. Revelation 12:12, it says, "What therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that ye have but a short time." And yeah, that's why these things accelerate, and even with, the everything being roused for World War II that we're seeing as well. With those things happening, it lets you know the time's short, everything's being sped up, and really it'll be what that charagma, that micro CHIP, that's going to be sped up. And then with it's even, you see it in the US with the presidential was it campaign? What the hell was the word I'm thinking of? Race, the presidential race, where it's galvanizing the people. It's getting people engaged to where, they have supreme hatred. Both sides have supreme hatred for the other. That was it. Which shouldn't really be, a mystery or surprise. Because that's how everything's been pushing with it, just in general. And why? Because, at times getting shorter. Because, the key thing is it going to be applied on everyone? In fact. Oh, right. So Revelation 3:10, it says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. And yeah, the hour of temptation, man, it's going to be peak. It's going to be on top. People are, now in a mindset where they're thinking, like, oh, even with the World War III thing, it was the same thing in 2020, where people were clowning it, making memes, making light of it. Because why? In reality, it's a terror onto the people. That's the actual reason why. The reason why they're making light of it is because it's fucking them up in the spirit. But they don't know there's worse and other things that will take place, including that micro C hip, man. Because Revelation 13 and 16, it says, "In cause of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name." And yeah, because it's going to be applied to everyone, it's going to be peak. You have now, with kind of from like when the Me Too thing first kicked off, the whole allure and mystique and appeal of celebrities, Hollywood, the music industry, all these prominent industries and prominent figures people were looking up to. The reality of how slimy they are. How slimy they are in reality has been getting peeled back. And like the latest focus of that is the hell's this guy called? Latest focus of that is P Diddy. But they're being brought down to a human level as well, which is why these guys are gonna be they're still tools within the system. They're not on the level of the elites. That's what they're gonna have to get as well. And that's really what you're seeing with people are gonna be cheering for it as well. With once enough crisis is brought to society, that's when you start having people then what do you call it? They'll be glad to see these things. And that's why you have all these crises, that order of chaos. That's why you have, war drums being beaten. That's why you have, this technology being developed to where they can say like, look, the problem could be the issue with it is the human, the way people behave. We need to balance out or temper it with with some form of technology. There's all kinds of ways they can look to justify it. And people will get down with it. They really will. But yeah, I'll leave it there. Shalom.